From a flicker of candlelight in 1789 to the glare of modern screens in the West Wing, every president has held the pen. Executive orders not passed by Congress, but etched into law by command. Some shaped history. Some sparked controversy. Others were forgotten. Until now. This is where we break them down. Every signature, every shift in power, every consequence still felt today. From Washington to Biden, welcome to Executive Order Watch.
Democracy, we live for it. For democracy, we fight for it. For democracy, we've died for it. And for democracy, we watch it. This is Executive Order Watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about 2019, a tremendous year for the United States under my leadership. We brought strength, prosperity, and pride back to the Oval Office. It was a year of historic economic growth, strong borders, bold foreign policy, and the continued fight against the deep state and fake news media. Let's start with the economy, because that's what matters to hardworking Americans. In 2019, unemployment dropped to 3.5%, the lowest rate in 50 years. Wages were rising, especially for blue-collar workers. The stock market hit record highs, and we kept bringing back jobs, manufacturing, energy, and construction after decades of loss from terrible trade deals made by past administrations. We replaced NAFTA with USMCA, a tougher, smarter trade agreement that brought fairness back for American farmers, workers, and businesses. Now, foreign policy, America First, was not just a slogan, it was our compass. In 2019, we stood up to China's abusive trade practices, holding them accountable with tariffs that led to phase one of the China trade deal. We also kept our promise to take down the world's most dangerous terrorists. ISIS leader al-Baghdadi was eliminated in a U.S. Special Forces raid. America got stronger, the world got safer. We also saw courage on our southern border. Construction of the border wall ramped up. Over 450 miles were built or upgraded, and we took decisive action to reduce illegal immigration, working with Mexico and Central American countries to stop the caravans. Border apprehensions declined sharply by the end of the year. On the domestic front, we made real progress for veterans, expanded school choice, and appointed dozens of federal judges who would defend the Constitution, not legislate from the bench. And of course, Space Force became reality in 2019, the first new branch of the military in over 70 years. We launched it. We made it happen. Now let's not forget, 2019 was also the year that the Democrats obsessed over impeachment. They didn't like that I was winning. They didn't like the booming economy. So they cooked up a phony Ukraine hoax, wasting taxpayer money on a witch hunt while I was out there working for the American people. We stood strong. We didn't back down. We beat it. I governed in 2019 the way I always have, like a CEO, not a politician. We made decisions fast, we got things done, and we delivered results. That's what leadership looks like. And folks, there's more. Executive orders played a big role in pushing this country forward, whether it was deregulation, support for veterans, or protecting American jobs. We'll get into those next, and you'll see just how much we accomplished. Without Congress, without the media's help, just pure executive leadership. Stay tuned. The executive orders of 2019 will tell you the real story, how we cut red tape, empowered workers, defended American values, and secured our future. We're just getting started. Executive Order 13,857, taking additional steps to address the national emergency with respect to Venezuela on January 25, 2019. Executive Order 13,858, strengthening Buy American preferences for infrastructure projects on January 31, 2019. Executive Order 13,859, maintaining American leadership in artificial intelligence on February 11, 2019. Executive Order 13,860, supporting the transition of active duty service members and military veterans into the Merchant Marine on March 4, 2019. Executive Order 13,861, National Roadmap to empower veterans and end suicide on March 5, 2019. Executive Order 13,862, revocation of reporting requirement on March 6, 2019. Executive Order 13,863, taking additional steps to address the national emergency with respect to significant transnational criminal organizations on March 15, 2019. Executive Order 13,864, improving free inquiry, transparency, and accountability at colleges and universities on March 21, 2019. Executive Order 13,865, coordinating national resilience to electromagnetic pulses on March 26, 2019. Executive Order 13,866, adjustments of certain rates of pay on March 28, 2019. Executive Order 13,867, issuance of permits with respect to facilities and land transportation crossings at the international boundaries of the United States on April 10, 2019. Executive Order 13,868, promoting energy infrastructure and economic growth on April 10, 2019. Executive Order 13,869, transferring responsibility for background investigations to the Department of Defense on April 24, 2019. Executive Order 13,870, America's cybersecurity workforce on May 2, 2019. Executive Order 13,871, imposing sanctions with respect to the iron, steel, aluminum, and copper sectors of Iran on May 8, 2019. Executive Order 13,872, economic empowerment of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders on May 13, 2019. Executive Order 13,873, securing the information and communications technology and services supply chain on May 15, 2019. Executive Order 13,874, modernizing the regulatory framework for agricultural biotechnology products on June 11, 2019. Executive Order 13,875, evaluating and improving the utility of federal advisory committees on June 14, 2019. Executive Order 13,876, imposing sanctions with respect to Iran on June 24, 2019. Executive Order 13,877, improving price and quality transparency in American healthcare to put patients first on June 24, 2019. Executive Order 13,878, establishing a White House Council on eliminating regulatory barriers to affordable housing on June 25, 2019. Executive Order 13,879, advancing American kidney health on July 10, 2019. Executive Order 13,880, collecting information about citizenship status in connection with the decennial census on July 11, 2019. Executive Order 13,881, maximizing use of American-made goods, products, and materials on July 15th, 2019. Executive Order 13,882, blocking property and suspending entry of certain persons contributing to the situation in Mali on July 26, 2019. Executive Order 13,883, administration of proliferation, sanctions, and amendment of Executive Order 12,851 on August 1, 2019. Executive Order 13,884, blocking property of the government of Venezuela on August 5th, 2019. Executive Order 13,885, establishing the National Quantum Initiative Advisory Committee on August 30th, 2019. Executive Order 13,886, modernizing sanctions to combat terrorism on September 9th, 2019. Executive Order 13,887, modernizing influenza vaccines in the United States to promote national security and public health on September 19th, 2019. Executive Order 13,888, enhancing state and local involvement in refugee resettlement on September 26, 2019. Executive Order 13,889, continuance of certain federal advisory committees on September 27, 2019. Executive Order 13,890, protecting and improving Medicare for our nation's seniors on October 3rd, 2019. Executive Order 13,891, promoting the rule of law through improved agency guidance documents on October 9th, 2019. Executive Order 13,892, promoting the rule of law through transparency and fairness in civil administrative enforcement and adjudication on October 9, 2019. Executive Order 13,893, increasing government accountability for administrative actions by reinvigorating administrative pay-go on October 10, 2019. Executive Order 13,894, blocking property and suspending entry of certain persons contributing to the situation in Syria on October 14, 2019. Executive Order 13,895, President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology on October 22, 2019. Executive Order 13,896, Commission on Law Enforcement and the Administration of Justice on October 28, 2019. Executive Order 13,897, improving federal contractor operations by revoking Executive Order 13,495 on October 31, 2019. Executive Order 13,898, establishing the Task Force on Missing and Murdered American Indians and Alaska Natives on November 26, 2019. Executive Order 13,899, combating anti-Semitism on December 11, 2019. Executive Order 13,900, providing for the closing of executive departments and agencies of the federal government on December 24, 2019. Executive Order 13901, adjustments of certain rates of pay on December 26, 2019.
Pauline's Pizza, where we deliver happiness one slice at a time. What's your craving today?
Yeah, hi. Is Seymour there?
Oh, Seymour. I think he might be busy making our special pies. But hey, why not swing by the pizzeria? We've got a pie with your name on it. Anything else I can help you with?
I was looking for Seymour Butts.
Ah, I see. Well, if you're looking for Seymour Butts, he might be hiding behind a pepperoni slice. Anything else I can do for you today?
No, that's it.
Hi, I'm Terrence, a marketing professional with a passion for helping your business grow smarter and faster. Here at Da Bomb Digital Media, based right here in Atlanta, Georgia, we specialize in bringing your vision to life. Whether you're launching your first website or reimagining your entire digital presence, we've got you covered. From modern website design and search engine optimization to setting up your own AI-powered agency tools, we deliver innovative solutions that keep you ahead of the curve. Ready to unlock your business's full potential? Let's build something remarkable together. For more information, visit our YouTube channel. Just search Da Bomb Digital Media on YouTube and start exploring tips, success stories, and everything you need to elevate your brand.
19.
Folks, let's take a hard look at the year 2019, a year that carried the weight of real choices, choices made at the highest level by the President of the United States. That year, Donald Trump signed over 40 executive orders, shaping everything from trade and health care to immigration and international sanctions. And those decisions, those pens to paper, they affected real lives. 2019 wasn't just another year in the calendar. It was a year where the world grew more divided, where leadership meant more than just press conferences and tweets. It was about whether we brought people together or pushed them apart. Let's start with what was happening around us. Globally, we faced growing instability. The trade war with China hit its peak, straining supply chains and rattling markets. Relationships with Iran worsened after we had walked away from the nuclear agreement the year before. Tensions boiled over, leading to new rounds of sanctions and real fears of armed conflict in the Gulf. Meanwhile, at home, 2019 should have been a time of renewal and rebuilding. The economy was growing, yes, but many working families still felt left out. Wages stagnated, healthcare costs rose, and entire communities, especially in rural America and communities of color, were still being left behind. So what did the Trump administration do? They turned to the power of the executive order. We saw orders aimed at Buy American policies, good in theory, but often carried out without follow-through or long-term planning. We saw the creation of Space Force, a new branch of the military, while ignoring growing threats here on Earth, like cyber attacks, election interference, and yes, public health preparedness. Trump also issued orders to cut regulations, many tied to environmental protections, clean water rules, and food safety. That might look good on a balance sheet, but it hurt families who needed clean air and healthy communities. We even saw efforts to limit refugee resettlement, shifting power away from federal coordination and leaving states to decide who gets a shot at safety. Now, let's be fair. Some of the executive orders focused on innovation. We saw investment in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and quantum computing. Good ideas on paper. But ideas without accountability are just headlines. What matters is who benefits. And too often, it wasn't working Americans. And we can't forget the order that dealt with combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. A reminder that even in times of division, there was space for bipartisan concern. But execution, like always, matters more than rhetoric. The truth is, many of the executive orders from 2019 were designed to look like solutions but lacked substance. They were sweeping, dramatic, political theater, but often avoided the hard, bipartisan work needed to get lasting results through Congress. In the face of real crises, climate, healthcare, immigration, we needed leadership rooted in unity and facts. Instead, we got actions that often made the divides deeper. So now, as we evaluate the top 10 executive orders of 2019, we'll break down which of Trump's decisions actually helped the American people and which ones caused more harm than good. We'll go into the specifics, the impacts on your wallet, your rights, your health, and our standing on the global stage. Because executive orders aren't just policy, they're a reflection of what a president stands for. And 2019 showed us exactly where Donald Trump stood. Let's begin. My fellow Americans, 2019 wasn't just another chapter. It was a turning point, a year of major decisions, a year where the executive branch exercised sweeping power through the pen. President Trump issued dozens of executive orders, and each one had real-world consequences, not just in that moment, but in the years that followed, even into today. Let's break it down. Impact in 2019, the year itself. In 2019, President Trump used executive power to reshape immigration, roll back environmental protections, redefine economic policy, and escalate international sanctions. On the surface, some of these orders appeared proactive, others purely reactionary. One of the most talked about moves was Executive Order 138,888, giving states and localities the ability to refuse refugee resettlement. This broke long-standing federal coordination practices, introducing confusion and further politicizing human displacement. EO 13,880 attempted to gather citizenship data through administrative means after the census citizenship question was blocked. This order heightened fear in immigrant communities, risking census undercounting and potential funding gaps in future years. Then you had EO 13891, 13892, and 13893 aimed at reinvigorating the federal bureaucracy by enforcing so-called administrative pay-go and limiting agency guidance documents. What that meant in reality: more red tape for those seeking help, veterans, small business owners, rural hospitals, less flexibility in enforcement, and more power concentrated at the top. On healthcare, Executive Order 13877 called for price transparency, an admirable goal, but without the implementation muscle or bipartisan backing to make it last. We also saw Trump try to elevate the Space Force, reorganize advisory committees, and launch symbolic orders like combating anti-Semitism in universities. EO 13899. But those efforts were often standalone, lacking sustained policy infrastructure. Global effects of 2019 EOs internationally, several orders changed how the world saw us and how we operated. EO 13886, which modernized terrorism sanctions, expanded the reach of the U.S. financial system to punish non-state actors. It was aggressive and far-reaching, but also raised questions about consistency and overreach. EO 13884 and 13857 placed deep sanctions on Venezuela, effectively freezing assets of the Maduro regime. But it also deepened economic hardship for the Venezuelan people, many of whom sought asylum at our borders. EO 13871 and 13876 imposed further sanctions on Iran's economy, iron, steel, copper, and ultimately risked military escalation in the Gulf. We saw the region heat up fast, and by January 2020, that powder keg nearly exploded. Cybersecurity got a spotlight with Executive Order 13873, focused on threats to our communications infrastructure. But while it flagged China's tech dominance, it didn't fund the long-term alternatives we desperately needed, effects on America in the present day. Now fast forward to today and ask, did these executive orders age well? Some laid groundwork, like AI investment, Executive Order 13,859, and cyber workforce development, Executive Order 13,870. We've continued to build on that with bipartisan tech initiatives. Others, they've been rolled back, revoked, or rendered obsolete. Orders like EO 13891-93, which limited agency guidance, were revoked early in my administration. We restored flexibility and fairness. Environmental deregulations, backed by Executive Order 13868 and others, set us back years on climate. We've had to claw our way back just to meet 2016 standards. The attempt to reshape refugee resettlement fragmented our humanitarian process. We reversed that too. But here's the truth. Executive orders have power, yes, but they're only as good as the vision and integrity behind them. In 2019, many of Trump's EOs served short-term optics, not long-term strategy. That left gaps we're still working to fill. Top 10 executive orders of 2019 coming up next. We've laid the groundwork, folks. Now we're going to examine 10 of Trump's most influential executive orders from 2019. The good, the bad, and the ones that still shape your world today. Each one will be broken down in depth. What it did, who it affected, how it holds up now. So buckle in. This next part tells the full story. Top 10 executive orders of 2019. Top 10 executive orders of 2019 under President Donald J. Trump. Evaluated in great detail for their intent, immediate impact, and lasting consequences into the present. Number 1, Executive Order 13880, collecting information about citizenship status in connection with the decennial census. signed July 11, 2019. What it did. After the Supreme Court blocked the citizenship question from the 2020 census, this EO ordered federal agencies to compile citizenship data from administrative records instead. Impact in 2019 created widespread fear in immigrant communities, particularly among undocumented families, even though the question itself didn't appear on the form. Risked an undercount, which could skew federal funding and congressional representation for years. Effect on present day. The undercount in hard-to-reach populations affected funding for hospitals, schools, and infrastructure. The Biden administration reversed the order with Executive Order 13986, but the long-term effects of the fear campaign still linger in many communities. Number 2, EO 13891, promoting the rule of law through improved agency guidance documents. Signed October 9, 2019. What it did required federal agencies to post all guidance documents in a searchable database and prevented them from issuing binding rules without notice and comment procedures. Impact in 2019. It sounded like transparency, but in practice it made enforcement slower and less responsive, especially in areas like public health and workplace safety. Effect on present day. This EO, along with 13892 and 13893, was revoked by Biden's EO 13992 in early 2021. Critics saw it as a deregulatory tool that slowed protections during crises like COVID-19, 13,886, modernizing sanctions to combat terrorism. Signed September 9, 2019. What it did. Revamped U.S. sanctions against terrorist actors, adding new criteria for designation and targeting financial networks with precision. Impact in 2019. Strengthened U.S. Financial tools against groups like Hezbollah and ISIS sent a strong global message. Effect on present day. Still active and impactful, forming part of current sanction structures used in the Middle East and North Africa. Bipartisan praise. Rare among Trump-era policies. Number 4, EO 13877, improving price and quality transparency in American healthcare to put patients. First signed June 24, 2019. What it did. Directed hospitals and insurers to disclose prices for services in clear formats. Impact in 2019. Faced industry resistance but started a movement toward clearer healthcare pricing. Effect on present day. Parts were implemented in 2021, forcing hospitals to publish costs. However, enforcement remains weak and compliance is inconsistent. Number 5, EO 13859, maintaining American leadership in artificial intelligence. Signed February 11, 2019. What it did. Launched the American AI Initiative, directing federal agencies to prioritize AI research and development. Impact in 2019. Signaled a strategic shift in tech policy. Lacked immediate funding, but aligned America's tech priorities with global competition, especially against China. Effect on present day formed the basis of Biden's AI Executive Order, EO 14110, 2023. This Trump EO is viewed as a foundation-setting document, despite limited early action. Number 6, EO 13884, blocking property of the government of Venezuela. Signed August 5, 2019. What it did. Froze all Venezuelan government assets in the U.S. and sanctioned foreign entities that assisted Nicolás Maduro. Impact in 2019. Escalated pressure on the Maduro regime. Punished the corrupt elite, but also deepened the humanitarian crisis for ordinary citizens. Effect on present day. Some sanctions remain under review. Critics argue the order contributed to mass migration and economic collapse, while others say it was necessary to defend democracy. Number 7, EO 13870, America's Cybersecurity Workforce, signed May 2, 2019. What it did. Promoted education, training, and federal hiring to build a stronger cyber workforce. Impact in 2019. Kickstarted federal cyber reskilling academies and job pipelines. Was timely given the rise in ransomware and election interference. Effect on present day, still active. Expanded under the Cybersecurity Executive Order, Executive Order 14028-2021. This EO laid real groundwork for today's digital defense strategy. Number 8, EO 13899, Combating Anti-Semitism, signed December 11, 2019. What it did: directed federal agencies to use the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism in Title VI enforcement, especially on college campuses. Impact in 2019, praised by Jewish organizations across party lines. Critics feared it might conflate criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. Effect on present day: still a reference point for federal civil rights enforcement, though interpretation varies by administration. Number 9, EO 13868, Promoting Energy Infrastructure and Economic Growth, signed April 10, 2019. What it did: made it easier for pipeline developers to get permits and harder for states to block energy projects. Impact in 2019, accelerated pipeline approvals and weakened state environmental review authority. Effect on present day: revoked by Biden's Executive Order 13990 on day 1. It is now cited as a case study in environmental rollbacks that prioritize short-term profits over climate resilience. Number 10, EO 13888, Enhancing State and Local Involvement in Refugee Resettlement, signed September 26, 2019. What it did: gave state and local governments veto power over refugee resettlement in their jurisdictions. Impact in 2019, undermined national coordination of refugee policy, created confusion, and led to legal battles over states' roles. Effect on present day: revoked by Biden's Executive Order 14013 in 2021. Its legacy remains a warning about fragmented humanitarian policy and politicizing refugee resettlement.
Some write history with blood, some with laws, but the sharpest stroke comes from the pen. Executive power ain't just a tool, it's a weapon wielded by the few, affecting the many. They sign it, we live it. They order it, we obey it. Here, watching, digging, remembering, from the plantation to the proclamation, from internment camps to civil rights stands, from surveillance laws to student loan draws. Porter can change your life, and you might not even know it, but now you do. So stay locked in, stay woke, stay sharp. We ain't just talking about power, we tracking it. Executive Order Watch, and we ain't blinking.